So here we have the graph of y equals sine x for values of x between minus 180 and 180. And then we can see that here, so the graph starts there and ends there between these values of minus 180 and positive 180. There's x values for all of these values in between. And then we're asked to, on the grid, sketch the graph of y equals sine x minus 2 for x values between minus 180 and positive 180. Now, when we're working with graph transformations, I always start by looking at whether the transformation is going to be in the x or the y-axis. Now, as this is written here, we could basically bracket this sine x off just to make sure it's a bit easier to see and we don't think the minus 2 is involved with the x. So if we have y equals sine x in brackets minus 2, we're going to have a transformation in the y-axis. Now, the transformations in the y-axis happen as you think they're going to, so a transformation of minus 2 is going to mean that the graph shifted down the y-axis by 2, so minus 2 in the y direction. Whereas if we were working with a shift in the x direction, it kind of works opposite to what we may think that is going to happen. So if it was x minus 2 in brackets, then it would actually shift 2 to the right as opposed to 2 to the left, which we may think it might. But we're working with this transformation in the y-axis, so a shift downwards of 2, a shift of minus 2. So we need to basically move this curve down by 2. So a way that I like to do this is go through and plot some key points just to make sure that I can draw a smooth line through all of them. So if I take, for example, the origin point, I'm going to need to move this point on the graph down by 2, and that's going to go to the point of 0, minus 2 here. So I can just plot that on. And then similarly, if we go back to the start, this point is at 0, we're going to move that down by 2 as well. And that gets us to here. Then the centre of this curve here is at minus 1, so we subtract 2 and get to minus 3, which is going to be here. And I can plot that one on as well. And then I can just do the same with any more key points here and here. So I can now just draw this curve in through all of the points. And that is the graph of y equals sine x minus 2. Now, to gain the marks here, I gain a first mark for a translation in the y direction. So for moving this graph down in the y direction, I'll gain the first mark, and then the second mark of the 2 is going to be basically for the correct graph. So the graph translated by minus 2 in the y direction is going to gain me that second mark.